Margaret Kuhlman of Soul Astrology. This new moon is at the very beginning of Scorpio, so that the whole month will keep that flavour as the sun goes slowly through. And Venus is exactly beside them both, so it's a new moon, a new look at love in Scorpio, in and through Scorpio. Mercury starts off in Libra, moving very fast towards the sun, so that by the 30th of October, Mercury goes into Scorpio as well. Our thinking, our communications, plunged into the depths of emotional life along with the rest. We have these first few days following the new moon to line ourselves up with these other two planets also in air signs, Mars down in Gemini and Saturn still making his way through Aquarius. So our understanding about relationship, Libra being the awareness of how all things are related, lining our minds up with this lovely triangle, an understanding of what the true Aquarian would be, of how the true Aquarian would relate. Reliable, honest, steady, determined to face truth, and with the Libran realization that what hurts someone else also hurts me, a gentleness, a kindness, a respect for what we don't know, as well as a respect for each individual as being as worthy of love and life as ourselves. And the energy, Mars in Gemini, the energy to communicate, the desire to express the truth to each other. While the Mercury is still in Libra, there's still perhaps the hope of returning to some kind of balance and harmony that we know. But as Mercury reaches Scorpio, perhaps a bit more of an acceptance that we must go through what has been uncovered. We can't cover it over and pretend it's not existing or that it doesn't matter. This whole month is about actually facing what's there, what's down there. Our deepest issues, our deepest emotional reactions and responses are firstly perhaps about all those things that seem to threaten our survival. And the flow of life, the movement of water, deep currents, the finances, the ability to make a movement that is right for you, even though it may not be agreed by authority. The intention of this month, shown by the new moon chart itself, does include that authority is with this. Fairness, justice is there at the beginning. But once people become personally and emotionally involved, fear changes the way we behave. And we can see that there is likely to be a lot of conflict around the fear of destruction. With the new moon and Mercury squaring Pluto, Pluto continuing his work since 2008 of disturbing, in fact, ploughing through the depths of our material grasp on life, but in harmony with Neptune and Jupiter. Jupiter expanding it all, perhaps retrograde in Aries, us all wanting to fight for our own corner. And yet the Mars is square to the Jupiter and particularly Neptune. So the solar plexus, the energy, the desire, actually containing some of that fear. The fear here is of being duped. Mars square Neptune is very sensitive to what is there, very intuitive. But at right angles, it's not necessarily picking up the meaning of things or how things might move. And with fear so predominant, very likely to be coming up with negative scenarios ahead, which really doesn't help at all. And Saturn still trying to keep a sense that it can all work out if one just steps carefully along prescribed lines. Finishing, he has finished now his square to Uranus, the last bits falling away, the recognition that we have to let go of how it's been. We have to feel our way forward. So it's not the practical, grounded issues that are going to lead us so much as the inner convictions, the inner strength, the spiritual authority, which each one can only access through their own self, which enables all that on the physical level, which doesn't serve newness, which has proved that it doesn't really work sustainably, can be let go. The steadiness is not physical steadiness, it's spiritual steadiness. And the steadiness that we're being called to find in these depths is love itself, the stirring of a love of life, not just our personal life and the life of our loved ones, but life as being as presence, spirit, divinity, whatever words we use. And all the words, the best words we can think of, the finest feelings we can imagine, are all simply mental tags for the One. An endeavour to describe the One in all its varying vibrations into manifestation. The full moon chart continues this emphasis on finding love in Scorpio. On a personal level, it is our most vulnerable place. One could say Venus is a little afraid of expressing herself that deep, because to express love is to relax and open and be accepting. And in the depths we can be so hurt, and nobody knows our depths. Even we hardly know our depths. So there's the fear of loss, the fear of hurt and damage from simply loving in relationship. But the moon opposite the sun has aligned itself with Uranus in Taurus, and both ends are challenging the old Saturn beliefs. We really are ready to let go of how we have done things, globally and personally. And the Sun, Mercury, Venus align themselves with Neptune and Jupiter through the latter part of the month. Love is spiritual. The love that we speak of in humanity, you will know, tends to be possessive, and it's a bit cloying. We have expectations of each other. We have needs which we want to be fulfilled from outside. We make promises to each other that we don't know if we can fulfill, given changed circumstances. We need to be very gentle about personalities. They are as they are. We are as we are, and we do what we do. And the spirit is steady, always open, always accepting, running through all of us. Aligning with that is the best we can do in life, aligning our identity with that. From that identity, spiritual love can flow out through all the personality. We may become eccentric, different from others, unique, but expressing light and acceptance, without judgment of others, but discerning. So let these first few days of the month perhaps be your moment for realigning with your central self, resting deep within your life reality, if you see what I mean. It's a kind of inner sinking, but sinking into the spirit that holds us, sinking into the arms of that which is permanent, steady, eternal, and recognizing that turbulence is passing, always moving. We move through it. It will all change of necessity, because it's all growing from one state into another state. It's as though one sits within oneself still and feels the whole of life flowing past like a wind, sometimes swirling around and stirring one's hair. All that people say and do, flowing past. Mars in the chart has a quincunx to Pluto, and Mercury has a quincunx to Neptune. For me, quincunxes indicate service, service to the spirit in service to itself, in a way. Which is why the personality has a spot of bother with it and tends to undermine itself by the different ends. So we need a broad view and a fairly spiritual perspective, whether it's called spiritual or not, to operate quincunxes in a way that feels really, really good. Here are two of them, to Mercury and Mars, who are working together. And they are calling on Neptune and Pluto. Spiritual transformation. So it's going to require our sense of diplomacy in speaking, our intention to communicate regardless, to be with what's true, to the best that we can. And in that way, the best of Saturn in Aquarius can come about. Uranus, who rules Aquarius, being on the North Node and in Taurus, makes sure that movements in the correct growthful direction are actually allowed to take place, and maybe sometimes even give us all a kick from the physical realm to get our priorities spiritualized. Have deep compassion for your everyday self, and compassion for the human world. Once the door to spirit is open, the light dissolves suffering. Be close to others, letting compassion ease the roughnesses between, and rest when needful, for spirit knows no time or separation. Understanding is not required to let tension go, so relax and move when appropriate. Remember to smile at the trees, for the sun is within you. Be bright light.